My guest is Eva Müller, renowned spiritual teacher, energy healer, and divine channel. She is known for her ability to convert complex spiritual concepts in an easy to understand manner, which we're going to talk about and more. Eva, thank you for joining me and welcome.
Hi, Jeff. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. It's so nice to be here. And yeah, thank you for the great introduction.
We're happy to have you, Eva. And if you don't mind, can we just start with your background and what was your life like before you got into all this stuff?
Okay. Yeah, of course. So I started meditating and learning about spirituality and spiritual awakening, all of that about 5 years ago. And before that, I had just a very normal life without spirituality. So I went to school, went to university, studied law, studied mediation, worked in real estate after that. And basically what happened is everything I didn't really fulfill me. So I was looking for fulfillment and I was looking for a life purpose. And I was looking in like doing, sports, body toning, traveling, and just looking for something that fulfills me, but I couldn't really find it. And and basically after university, I had a job. I thought, okay, when I have a good job, earn good money, and yeah, and earn good money, then basically I am fulfilled. And yeah, it didn't work out that way. So I decided to take a break for 2 years, not doing anything, not doing any work, just seeing where life takes me. And I started reading books about self-development and started doing like guided meditations and stuff like that, because I learned that to have a better life experience, the inner world needs to be transformed, or there needs to be a connection to our inner world. And that's basically what I was looking for in books and meditations and podcasts as well. So I was listening to many podcasts. And so one time I did a guided meditation and I had a very profound experience, actually. So right in the beginning, I went in a very deep state. There was like Eva was gone. So I was just very deep. There was no Eva. Like my life story was gone. I didn't feel my body. I didn't feel anything anymore. I was just in a space of peace, quiet, and pure freedom. And it was extremely beautiful. And I stayed there for a while. So it's known also as samadhi, just a very deep state where everything dissolves. And this basically made me so curious, because I thought, okay, this is what I want to experience. I want to experience this peace and freedom. And I felt fulfilled in that space, even though nothing was there, right? And then I started to look for more. I started to look for answers. And a friend of mine, he recommended to start meditating regularly. And he recommended a meditation group. And I just joined this meditation group, even though I didn't really know what they were doing or never really meditated before, except for those guided meditations. And basically it was a group and they were meeting twice a week but just sitting in silence. And there was an energy transmission happening. So I was receiving an energy transmission by sitting in that hour, but I didn't feel any energy at that time. I didn't really know what it was. I didn't know what enlightenment is, or spiritual awakening, or consciousness, or anything like that. But I just felt there is something to it, and I just want to continue on doing that. And after about 3 months sitting like twice a week in that energy transmission, I started feeling the energy. So my body started to feel the energy. It was a tingling in every cell of my body. I started to see lights. I started to have visions and all of that. So this made me just more curious. And this group was all about spiritual awakening. So awakening consciousness, reaching higher levels of consciousness. And this is only what I learned there. And I learned that there are various levels of consciousness, like self-realization, unity consciousness, Brahman consciousness, Pure Brahman consciousness, and then Pure Divinity. And I felt this is what I want. This is what I want to experience. This is basically what takes away the suffering of the human, or the looking for a purpose, because I just couldn't find it in this reality. Yeah. And then I was just very dedicated and meditated a lot, did spiritual practices to reach those different levels. And this basically happened. And I can now share about those levels.
Let's start with, what is self-realization?
Yeah. Okay, so self-realization is basically when you realize you're not your body, you're not your mind, you're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions, but you're something else. You're basically the one that's observing all of that from the background. And this was exactly my experience. So it took me a year of meditating regularly to have a shift into self-realization. And then I was basically experiencing myself from a little bit behind myself, observing all of that. So my bodies, my emotions, and all of that. So I was observing that. And also my vision closed down. So it felt like I was looking at everything through a camera lens. So how I looked at the world kind of changed because it was just I looked through a camera lens. So this is how I experienced self-realization. And with that, I started to see more of my human like patterns I had in my system, wrong beliefs I had, stuck energies I had in my system, like something from childhood trauma and stuff like that. So I was just more aware of that. I wasn't aware of that before, but at that time I started to be aware of that and see, okay, this is actually limiting me. And this is why I didn't feel good, because most of my life I had a very normal life. Like my life was quite nice, like how it unfolded, but I just never felt good. I had a lot of low vibration energies going on. So a lot of fear and I mean, mild depression, you know, in that kind of way. It just felt down a lot. And I started to see why. So that was a very interesting phase. I just started to see, okay, why I felt how I felt. And this kind of, by just observing that, it gave me a little bit more freedom. You know, you don't need to like buy into it, although it's not that easy not to buy into it, but just seeing that, you know. So, yeah, so that was self-realization, how I experienced it. And then moving forward from there, so unity consciousness is basically the next phase where you become one with everything. So basically the okay, lost what's the word? The outside boundary of the body. So the outside boundary of the body, that's there and separates you from everything that is just dissolved. So it dissolves and you're one with everything. And how I experienced that was the small self, which I saw as like an energy ball in the center of my chest, got ripped out. So who I thought I was, who I thought was Eva was, so the identification with that just dissolved from one minute to the other. Also, the ego stepped into the background, and then the outside boundary of my body just fell away, and then I was one with everything. So this was an actual shift I had, and that was quite a hard time because I was seeking unity consciousness, because I thought when I reached unity consciousness, my life is just going to be really beautiful. I'm going to live in bliss. I'm just going to be in joy and experience love and all of that, and everything else will be gone. So all my human problems will be gone and life will be just awesome. So this is what I expected, you know, because this is kind of what I heard and what I read, what I heard from other spiritual teachers. Yeah, it wasn't like that, unfortunately. So there is a mechanism in our system that holds down so all the trauma we have stored and we didn't want to look at. What I was talking about before, so childhood trauma, for example, or patterns, and so all these things. So this mechanism started to open up as well, and all these energies just started to come up. Like I couldn't control it anymore. So for about 2 months, I was in a phase of total fear, total anxiety, total depression. So I felt really, really bad. Also, you know, in unity consciousness, they say that it feels like dying. And this actually felt like that for me as well. So I felt like dying for a few days, just because the system is very used to like the small, like the body, the outside of the body, the boundaries, and the small self. And when this falls away, it actually feels like dying. So I felt like that as well. Then for example, I was very sensitive to all sorts of foods. I couldn't have any sugar, coffee, or processed foods or anything like that. I've started to feel beings entering the room, so the energy of that. So always when I was in a room and there were just beings in another dimension coming into that room, but in another dimension, I feel them, I felt their energies. So it was really hard to sleep at night because they were coming in. So because there was so much fear in my system, I was fearful of those as well, right? Then, my consciousness was basically all over the place. So I just saw pixels, couldn't see straight anymore. So it was, anyways, to not go on forever about that phase, because it's getting better afterwards. It was kind of a hard time. And one of my friends, actually, he told me, you know what, look for somebody who you really trust and try to go through that, because you know you're going to come out on the other side and it will be fine. And so I had a spiritual teacher at that time, and I chose him. So he helped me and guided me through that. And also, so Mother Mira, she's an incarnation of the Divine Mother, and she's an Indian lady, and she offers meditations online. And I don't know, I started to meditate with her as well, and to pray. And because she's an incarnation of the Divine Mother, I just thought the Divine Mother knows what's best for me, because I don't know, I feel very lost. And so I started being devoted to her and build a connection so that she can help me through that, because I couldn't. I mean, she's not speaking or anything. It's just you can only like meditate with her online, but I just built this invisible connection, and it was very soothing, like felt very, very soothing. Yeah, and so about 2 months later, the unity experience was then there for a few days, and then it was gone again. It was there again for a few days, and it was gone again. So basically, when I just to share a bit how unity feels like. So you're one with everything. In a meditation is when this shift happened. So basically, what I experienced is that my skin flew off. So that's how I saw it, and then everything became one. So when you like out in nature or something like that, or you look at certain things, you see the energy of those, and you see you are that as well. So you see yourself in those things as well, energy-wise. So there is the same energy. You see the self in everything, and there is like bliss everywhere. And yeah, I mean, it's really nice. So actually being in unity consciousness and experiencing that is really nice. When there is no separation, it's amazing, but it was always veiled. So it was open, it was veiled again, open and veiled again. And so I was looking basically for answers or for help, how I can have that experience all the time. And then I started to work with a healer who started to clear out those low vibrational energies out of my system, what I'm doing now today as well, because they were veiling it. So it's basically when these energies are coming up, it's like, you know, for example, fear comes up, and then you're experiencing the fear, and then you mostly caught in a story around something that's happening in your life at the moment, and then you're in that energy, and then the unity is veiled. So you're not experiencing it. And when that energy leaves the system, unity was there again. And this is also a lot of people I'm working with are experiencing that. So they have a higher realization, or they are in a high level of consciousness, but they are not really experiencing it all the time, because the human stuff, I just call it the human stuff, is veiling that experience. And that was the same for me. So I worked with a healer for about a year or so, really trying to clear out as much as my system as possible. And also what I did was a technique for pranayama and visualization technique that clears out karma out of the system. So basically, so it's called samskaras, so that the system just gets cleared from karma. And and after, I don't know, about a year or so, the unity experience was there, so it was stable, it was there all the time. So it's also the refinement stage. So it just gets more refined, you experience it all the time. And that was really beautiful then. So just experiencing unity consciousness was amazing when it's not getting veiled. And then the next stage was, and I mean, a lot of spiritual experiences came with unity consciousness as well. For example, like meditations where a lot of light was present, a lot of love, like divine love was present. Yeah, stuff like that.
You mentioned before about living in bliss, and you weren't living in bliss, right?
Mm.
Is it even possible to live in bliss?
Mm-hmm.
Do you live
Yeah.
in bliss currently?
I mean, right now it's very different. It's the bliss of existence. And yes, I live in that all the time, but this comes with the Brahman. So before, the bliss is basically a side effect of the awakening process. So often, for example, when a samskara or a karma, so it's the same, karma leaves the system, then you experience bliss afterwards because there is more space, there is more light. And then you experience this for a while and then it integrates a little bit and then it's not so in the forefront anymore. You might experience it more in the background. And it also depends on the system. Like some people are very sensitive and they experience it more because they're just more perceptive and some people don't. But it's not really about the bliss. The bliss is just a side effect. You know, it's really nice, of course, to experience that. And now the bliss of existence is just the bliss of beingness. And it's like the bliss before is more like love, is joy, so it has content. And the bliss now is just because I exist. And that's the reason why the bliss is there. So it doesn't have so much flavor, but it's there all the time. And I feel it 24/7. Yeah, it's there all the time. So it's a vibration in the cell on a cellular level in the body.
Can you tell us or explain to us how to release our karma?
Yeah, I mean, there are different ways. I guess there are a lot of different ways how you can do that. So how I do it, I work with an energy transmission and I look into people's systems and I just see. So the energy transmission shows me where the karma is and I just clear it. I do it on an energetic level. It's actually very simple. And the healer I worked with, she worked with angels and God and Jesus at that time. So that was her way of working. And they were helping her, or their energy was helping her to clear this out of my system. And it's very simple. It's just an energy like the fear. So there is always like a core emotion, for example, the fear, and there is a story on top. And this is stuck in the system. And just these energies need to get released. It's very simple. Like on an energetic level, it's always very simple. The stories, of course, the human find the stories very, how do I say it? There is so much going on the human level and so much noise, you know, that they don't really see underneath what's actually there. But when you look on an energetic level, it's very simple. Everything is very simple and clear. And it's very easy to work there. It's very easy to remove. Yeah.
Is the story creating the fear or the fear creating the story?
Yeah. So the fear is already in the system, and then you experience the emotion, and then a story is created.
What causes the fear?
So it's stuck energies in the system. It's only stuck energies in the system. So, for example, as a child, it started to manifest in your body, for example, with 3 or 4 years old. So before the system is open, energies are just moving through the system. So for example, when you're in a situation and there is fear, you experience fear in that situation, then it moves through and it's totally gone. But then there comes a time when energies start to be stuck. So you have an experience, it can't fully pass through, then it gets stuck. And this happens over and over again. And then all these energies are just stored in the system and they are not passing through. They can't pass through anymore. And then, for example, when you are in a situation and, for example, it triggers fear that's already in your system, the fear pops up and then a story is created again. It always, this fear pops up that's already in your system. And that's the problem. That's what we are clearing. And this is also, that's what your vibration lowers your vibration, you know, the stuff that's in your system. And the clearer, sorry, just one second, the clearer the system is, you're not experiencing low vibrational energies as much anymore, you know? So you probably won't experience fear, you just experience irritation or annoyance, you know?
When you're saying the energy of fear is stuck in your system,
Mm-hmm.
are you saying like within your auric field or in what system do you mean?
So system, when I talk about the system, is the energy bodies. So every cell has an energy body and it's stuck there. So on that level, it's only stuck on an energetic level. That's where I see it.
All right.
Yeah. And basically what needs to happen is we need to have a more open system so that the energies can just pass through. When we have an experience, we live through that experience, the energies can fully pass through, and then it leaves, and then the next experience comes in, and the next comes in, and the next comes in, and nothing gets stuck anymore. And this is how the system works in the best possible way. And before that, so when our system is more closed down, energies get stuck.
Do you think it's possible that we can get to a place where we have no more fear?
Yes, I don't experience fear. It's not in my reality anymore. So the lowest vibration I'm experiencing is annoyance or irritation. It's just because I cleared all the karma, I cleared the fear out of my system, and my system is open, that energies are just passing through all the time, so it's all cleared. So I don't experience fear.
If we go back to a point where you said that you started sensing beings in the room, what type of beings were you sensing?
So I didn't see them or anything, I just felt them. And because I was experiencing a lot of fear, I guess, fear and anxiety at that time, those were the beings I felt. So beings of the same vibration. Yeah, but I didn't put a name on them, or I didn't see like a vision or anything. It was just, I just felt their vibration. And this is the same today. I feel vibrations, but not a form. I don't see a form or anything.
A lot of your history, and I think a lot of your work may be dependent on meditation. Is there a specific type of meditation that you recommend?
Meditating with a transmission. So that's what I recommend, because this is, in my experience, the fastest way to transform, because transmissions, also the one I'm working with, I mean, not every transmission, but the one I'm working with and the one I was experiencing throughout my path are working on a cellular level and are transforming the system on a cellular level towards higher states of consciousness, or like how I work towards your personal highest truth, to your true nature. So that's what I'm recommending, and it's very easy. You just need to meditate. The transmission comes in. You can just sit in it. You can enjoy it because it feels really nice. If you can feel energies, it's very effortless, because it's more like the transmission is meditating you. So you don't really need to do anything. It's also fine to just be in a very comfortable position. Like, you don't need to sit upright and do like strict meditation postures or anything. So it's a very easy and fast way to transform and reach higher levels of consciousness. So that's what I'm recommending. That's what my path was. Yeah.
When you say meditation with a transmission, is that like a guided meditation or something else?
So a transmission is an energy that's coming in, and I'm working with guided. So I guide people through the whole meditation, but you could sit with that in silence. So I usually sat with that in silence when I was on my path. But for me, it started to manifest that the energy, basically I can talk to the energy gives me information, and it told me to guide people through it, and the energy gives me information, and I just share that information. And it also kind of tells me what to do, for example, opening the energy field and bringing in more light and stuff like that. So I assist the transmission. So I'm in communication with that energy. Yeah. And transmission is just light, and light is pure information. So higher information is coming in.
Now, you're also considered to be a Brahman. What is that?
Yeah. So Brahman is the next, I guess you can say, stage after unity consciousness. So when unity consciousness is integrated, you can become the Brahman. And Brahman is, I share how it came, the experience came in for me. So I was at a spiritual retreat, and we were listening to a Divine Mother music, so spiritual music, and meditating. And I had an experience with the Divine Mother. So the Divine Mother came into my body, and I felt that she was in me, and she was looking out through my eyes when she was in my body. And I never felt so great before in my life. There was so much love, there was so much joy, there was like power, never-ending power, pure divinity. Like it just felt so great and amazing. And I felt like I could never, I never die, you know, like I live forever and stuff like that. And I asked her, how can I feel that all the time? And she said, I have to get rid of human love. And so over a course of 2 weeks, every time she showed me what human love is. So human love is basically conditional love. So I love you because of, you know, all the conditional love. So I was shown what was stuck in my system, again, energies that were stuck in my system, misunderstandings, what I thought what human love was. And I gave it to her. So I gave it to her until one day nothing was left, and then the Brahman was there. And the Brahman is pure emptiness. There is nothing there. So it's beyond creation. Unity consciousness is in creation, and Brahman consciousness is beyond creation. So you are outside of creation, looking into creation. So when you look at something, it's manifesting in front of your eyes, and when you look away from it, it falls, it collapses. So you see that everything we experience, all our consciousness is just a manifestation of our own consciousness in front of our eyes, and when we look away, it's gone. So this was my experience. I didn't feel any emotions anymore. So there was no love, joy. There was no human emotions. I just experienced total emptiness. Okay. Total emptiness. And this is the Brahman. This is where I realized I'm not a human. I'm not a being. I'm pure beingness. I'm pure beingness. And also in unity consciousness, there is still the individual there. So the individual is experiencing the unity. I am one with everything. And in Brahman consciousness, that individual falls away as well. So there is no individual. There is nothing anymore. It's all gone. So it's pretty dry and a pretty amazing experience at the same time, because experiencing something like that in a human lifetime, before you're one with everything, it's blissful and beautiful, and then you experience nothing, and the individual even falls away. That was pretty profound to me, and then kind of a bit hard at the same time, because there was no love, there was no joy, but also no suffering, no low vibrational energies. There was just nothing there. And about 3 months, I spent 3 months in that stage. And then I don't know, I felt like I was no use for this world anymore. I had no interest in nothing, in anything, like my job, my partner, in my family. There was just no interest. Everything was just lost. There was nothing there. And then I decided, no, I don't want to live that way. I feel like I'm not useful that way. I want to experience the humanness again. And then it was a decision, interesting enough, and then some human aspects started to come back in. So this is also known as the Bara Brahman. So love started to come in again, joy started to come in again, but very different. So unconditional love. So this is love for everybody. You feel exactly the same love for everybody that exists. So there is no human love anymore, like this specific, the love when you're in love with somebody, or love your partner or something like this. It was all gone. It was only unconditional love there. The joy is not like excitement in the way of joy. It's more the joy of being, just existing. And other aspects. And also at that time, the energy transmission I'm working with today started to come in, and I was able to work with it and transmit it to people. So this was part of that phase. And then I just started working with people, because I knew I can transmit that. I can transmit the Brahman to people, so their true nature. This is what we are beyond all the human stuff. We are the Brahman. I can transmit that to people, and then that's what I started doing. And the transmission started to come in, and I started to get messages. And then it started forming a way of me working with people, and like all the information I have today, basically just this transmission taught me. So I never like learned anything or in a book or from another teacher or anything. It just came in, and I learned from that transmission. And now what I'm doing is I help to clear people's system from all those low vibrational energies, the human stuff, and I connect them to their true nature, so that they can live through that more and more. That's the work that has manifested.
It almost sounds like to me now that leads right into pure divinity.
Yeah, I mean, the pure divinity is basically when God merges with the human, so you're fully embodying the God aspect. And then after that, God and human becomes one. And then you're basically just back having a human experience. That's it. So I don't feel spiritual at all. I'm not I'm not interested in spirituality or anything in that way I was before. You just come back and having this normal human experience and fully accepting the human experience. And this is basically the beauty of it. So when you're on the path of spiritual awakening, you want to get away from the human. You want to be more than the human, right? But then in the end, you're coming back and you just have a normal human experience and you just accept that and you can embrace it and really enjoy it. And this is basically what I was always looking for in my life. So this purpose or this fulfillment, to have a nice life experience. And this is what I'm experiencing now because everything is just unfolding. It's not me doing, I just see it very different now. Life is just flowing through me and I just go with the flow. My system is fully surrendered. Whatever is coming up, it's perfect. It's totally fine how it is. Everything comes in, what needs to come in, and what needs to fall away falls away, and all of that. So it's a very effortless way of living. It's a very beautiful way of living. Yeah, and also then helping people with that kind of work.
I didn't mention this in the beginning, but you are in the middle of Austria. Are there a lot of people where you live interested in these spiritual things? Or did you have to find an online community?
I found an online community. I actually don't really know if people are interested around me because I've never really looked if there is a community in Austria. So the meditation group I joined was an English-speaking meditation group, and there were people from all over the world. And also, like most spiritual books are written in English, and most spiritual podcasts and all of that, right? So everything is really in English. And yeah, this is why I also started an English YouTube channel and I have an English website and all of that. So it's all in English. So there is not really a community around here yet, at least. Who knows?
Well, would you be willing to give us a guided meditation with a transmission so we could experience it?
Yes, yes, of course.
All right. I just want to let everybody know that before she does this, if you are driving or operating heavy machinery, pause the video and come back later and watch it, and then you can participate.
I mean, it's very great that you share that. Just that people know it's a very grounding transmission as well. So it brings you up, but also grounds you at the same time. So you don't have to worry. But it's definitely better to sit, close your eyes, because then you can feel it. Because this is all about experience. You know, it's not about understanding on a mind level. It's really about experiencing the transmission, experiencing the energy in your body. So I recommend sitting, closing your eyes, just in a comfortable position, being an open and receptive state, and just, yeah, meditate along. Okay, I start with opening up the energy field. Bring in light. Can I expand the energy field? So expanding the energy field helps to hold more light in the system, and also more awareness comes with that as well. And the energy field can always be more expanded. So the light that's coming in is higher information, and it's transforming your system on a cellular level towards your personal highest truth and your true nature. So that's why I'm opening up your energy field more and more. And I fill up the expanded space with more light. And then I clear surface energies. So surface energies are just energies and emotions that are floating around at the top of your system. So energies you've been exposed to and emotions that have been triggered up over the, let's say, past 1 or 2 days. I'm clearing those because we don't need them at the moment. Okay, then the energy is working on the heart chakra. I'm assisting. So it's basically just clearing blocked energies out of the heart chakra so that you can experience your heart more and also feel more through your heart and feel more love, more joy, and more, just feel more high vibrational. So I clear energies out of the heart chakra. So worries, so I clear the energy of worries, for example. So the energy is just showing me what kind of energies to clear. So worries about the future. So I clear worries about the future. Many people have worries about the future these days. So how is the future going to unfold for them personally and also for what's happening on Earth or in their country? So there is worries. So I worry on the heart level, there's always the identification. So I identify with that emotion. I worry about my future. 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 I worry about the future of Earth, of the environment, of my country. So I worry. So I clear those worries. I just clear the energy of worry out of the heart chakra. Then also fear. I clear fear around that out of the root chakra. So I always see those energies in the chakras, although they can be stored anywhere in the system. I'm just clearing because the chakras are a way of working with our energy field. So I clear the energy of fear out of the root chakra. So the fear of the future, the fear of future, and fear of not knowing what's going to happen. So there is a lot of fear around this, of not knowing what's going to happen, how life is going to unfold. And everything I just shared before, also in the heart chakras, is the same, just on the fear level with the energy of fear. So I clear that. Then also mind. So third eye chakra. So I clear energies to the thoughts on that level, the thoughts around, around those worries. So the worries about the future. So I clear that on the mind level as well. Because the more we think about it, the more stories are basically coming up, and the more fear is coming up then as well. So the emotion. And then it's basically just a circle. There is more and more and more coming, and we don't want that. So we want to clear the fear and the worries. Okay. Then I open up the energy field more. So always when I open up the energy field more light can enter the system. And it's very high vibrational divine light. So just by coming in, it's already clearing low vibrational energies and raises your vibration so that you can have a more positive outlook on life and also experience it more, because it's not just experiencing more on a mind level or having positive thoughts. It's also about experiencing it from the system level. So actually just feeling high vibrational energies like love, joy, all of that. Okay. Again, I work on the heart chakra. I bring in love. into the heart chakra, so the energy of love, that you experience more of that. And when you go through your day with having more love in your system, you will see, you perceive your life differently versus coming from a level of fear or worries. So your life manifests in a different way. You meet, for example, people who are also on a higher vibration of love. You will see things differently, perceive things differently just from that higher vibration. So it's more enjoyable. So there is more love coming in, more love coming in, more love coming in. So again, I clear more energies out of the heart chakra, just that more love energy can manifest, or with that energy with information of love. Okay, there are a few blockages around, I'm not supposed to feel love. I'm not supposed to feel joy because I don't deserve it. I don't deserve love or joy. I don't deserve those energies. So there's just a belief on the mind level, but also on the heart level. So I don't deserve it. I don't deserve to live through that high vibration. So that's why I'm not. I focus on the lower vibrations. So I clear those energies out of the heart chakra. And in general, out of the system, energies that are preventing you from experiencing the love and the joy in your life. There's all sorts of patterns there, misunderstandings, things you learned, for example, from your parents, from society, experiences you had as a child, traumatic experiences. So I'm just clearing them for you, or those that are available right now. So it's always a process. A few of them are available right now. We can clear them. We raise our vibration with that. Then we go from there. Then there is more coming up to be cleared and so on. And maybe you can already experience a lot more light being in your system. And if you see lights, for example, you can see how your whole body is filled up with light right now. So see it on with your eyes closed. Or maybe you just feel the vibration of that light. And maybe you also feel how your body is a lot more relaxed now. And at the same time, also you feel a lot more trusting. So the energy of trust comes in, trust that everything will work out perfect as it's supposed to. And like I said before, we're all creating our life ourselves by how we are experiencing it from a vibrational level. And if there is trust in whatever is happening is perfect as it is, then also life gets a lot more easier and enjoyable, because we don't need to do anything. We don't need to change anything. We just need to experience what's coming in for us to experience, because this is what we're here for. This is what human life is all about, is experiencing life. So this is the life's purpose, experiencing life. Okay, so let's sit with that information and that energy for another minute or two before I finish the meditation. Okay, we are finished.
Eva, thank you for providing that meditation for us.
Yeah, of course.
How often do you meditate? Every day?
No, I don't meditate at all anymore because there is in unity consciousness, basically, there is an aspect or a shift. It's called samadhi. And by being in that, you're basically in a meditation all day long. So it doesn't matter if you meditate or not, your consciousness is not changing anymore. So that's why I don't meditate. But I really enjoy sitting in transmissions, by listening to somebody who has a transmission or something like that. So I really enjoy that. But no, I don't meditate anymore because it doesn't make any difference. So on a level of consciousness, there comes a point where nothing is evolving anymore. So I always talk about the human system. The human system can evolve, so we can become more love, we can become more open, more light can flow. We can have more gifts coming in or something like that. So that's always possible. But on a level of consciousness, there comes a time when nothing is changing anymore. It stays the same. So when you realize you are pure beingness, yeah, that's why I stopped meditating.
Do you feel like you've reached your highest spiritual level that you can while living on the earth?
No, I mean, on a level of consciousness, yes, because I don't see an evolvement there anymore. But on a level of learning about this work, about how to work with energy transmission, like I said, how my system can open up, understanding all of these things, I think this never ends. And also the human, right? The human can learn so much from that as well, from opening up more to higher information. So opening up to higher information helps the human to live more from that truth. And to me, it's really about, so we're pulled, this transmission pulls you towards your personal highest truth, and it's a constant unfolding process. So it's not like a goal you can reach, but it's just the best possible timeline, I guess. That's the best possible way to describe it. You can reach and then be on that best possible timeline, but still it's an unfolding process. And this is actually something my transmission is doing. So it pulls you towards your personal highest truth, to your best possible timeline, so that you can have your best possible life experience with opportunities coming in, the right people at the right time, things falling away that are, not so serving for you anymore, and things coming in that are more serving for you. Life just gets a lot more enjoyable. And it's actually quite interesting. So that transmission showed me how I can connect people directly without me needing to be there anymore, because here I transmitted this energy to you, right? But it's possible to connect people directly. So I actually have a service on my website where people can just be connected to that energy transmission, and then they are in the transmission 24/7, and it's working on their system 24/7, and it's like you are on a spiritual retreat or in meditation 24/7. It never stops, and it's a very fast way of progressing. And people, they love it because they can already live or start living more of their highest truth than they were able before. And like I said, they are pulled towards the highest truth. So it's not that they are subscribed, because it's a subscription service, and they're there. It's really, it's an unfolding process towards that, and then they can experience how everything gets easier, how life gets more enjoyable, and all of that. And that also things can fall away, of course, that it's not of their highest truth, like a job. They see, okay, it's not serving me anymore. I look for a new one, or a partner, or friends. And also, for example, when you are subscribed to that, or when you're receiving that transmission, and if you're, let's say, you want to open up more spiritually, this is just something your goal is, then also what can come in is the best possible practice for you at that time, or the best possible book, spiritual book, for example, or the best possible spiritual teacher. So it always gives you what's best for you in that present moment, and also like abundance and stuff like that. So this is something new, actually, what came in for me to share with people.
After watching this podcast, people may want to reach out to you and ask you questions. Are you open to that?
Oh yeah, of course. Like, people can reach me, they can write me an email, or I offer a free healing meditation on Zoom every Thursday at 9 o'clock Central European time. So always quite a large group of people meditating together, and there is always a half an hour before where we chat, or there people can ask questions, and then we meditate together. And I offer also small healing group sessions where people can receive healings. And also that service I was just talking about is called Next Elevations. There is a website, www.nextelevations.com, and there is a 2 weeks free trial. And if people feel drawn to that and want to experience it, they can just connect to that energy through that website and see what's happening for them, so they can have a direct experience, because this is what it's all about, right? We can talk about all of this, but it's really about experiencing all of that. So yeah.
You also have a YouTube channel, right? What's the name of it?
It's called Healing, and there are more than 200 videos. So there are guided meditations, silent meditations. Everything on that channel contains a transmission. So you're always connected to the transmission when you are watching these videos. And it's actually quite fascinating, because a lot of people, they ask, how is it possible that I watch a video and then I receive a transmission, or, a healing? And it's really on an energetical level. When you create something, it's stored there for good, like in a library. For example, I create a healing and it's stored there. And with the video, people can connect to that healing that's already there. So they just connect what's already created. And the video is just a possibility to connect to that, for example, or sitting with me and then the transmission comes in because I channel it, or with the website where the transmission is embedded into the website, that you can actually just, push a button and then the transmission starts to come in. Yeah. So it's a new way of receiving spiritual energy, I guess.
Besides what we've talked about, do you have anything else going on that you want people to know about?
I just want that people really start enjoying their life experience more and get away from fear and those low vibration energies, because life itself is always for us, it's not against us. And when I look back at my life itself was good, but I didn't experience it that way. And it's kind of a pity, because it was kind of okay, And now I just see that life can be so enjoyable and just unfolding in a very effortless way. And it's just so beautiful. And I just want people to experience that as well. And with my work, I give people a direct experience of that. So if they're connected, if you do a YouTube video, let's say for 2 weeks, you just do a few YouTube videos, you will definitely, or people who already have a bit more open system will definitely see a change in their experience, in their life experience. And I just want people to know that this is possible in quite a fast way and in an enjoyable way. It doesn't have to be through suffering. And this is what I want to share.
Eva, before we finish up, can you leave us with one last positive message?
I want to experience people understanding that everything is perfect as it is, and life is for us, and we can actually, live life from that truth, and that's the best possible way of living. So that's what I want to share with people, that everything is perfect as it is.
Eva, thank you for your message, and thank you for being my guest.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really amazing. And so thank you so much for everybody who's listening as well. It was amazing to be here. Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks for watching the JeffMara podcast. I really appreciate you. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. And if you do, there are loyalty badges and other perks depending on your level of membership. All you need to do is click the join button underneath the video to find out more. Thank you for your support.